Today on Extra Tuesday, we're talking with evangelist, YouTuber, and youth ministry coach, Paul Turner. And he's going to be offering you guys a really special opportunity. Hello, Devoted Geeks, and welcome to Geek Devotions, the YouTube show from Devoted Geeks who are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. I'm Dallas. With me is
Celeste.
And hey, we're really glad you guys hit the play button today. Today, I'm really excited about what we're doing today, Celeste.
I'm excited.
We are going to be talking with somebody who has 30 plus years of experience ministering to teenagers and to families. And a really great guy that I've known for several years now. Happens to be one of our devoted Patreon geeks. But that's not why we have him on here. We have him on here because of something special that he provides for people. But let's introduce him. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to our friend, Mr. Paul Turner.
Hey, everybody. Howdy. I wondered who you guys were talking about earlier. You guys had all those compliments and whatnot. And I was like, who? Am I still on the show?
Yeah, we brought in another guest.
Did they go to somebody else?
Go to camera B now. No,
camera B.
So anyways, Paul here. Man, you're an evangelist, you're a coach, you're a writer, you're a YouTuber, you do all kinds of great stuff. Man, seems like to me, you're all about equipping the body. But like I said in our intro, you've been serving with youth ministry for like 30 plus years, right?
Correct.
So if you could, just for those who are listening, people are going like, why am I listening to this? Who is this guy? Tell us your background in youth ministry, man. What have you done in the last 30 some odd years?
Well, the last 30 years, I think, the reason why that I think I'm so passionate about it for several reasons one is I think that I had good youth pastors. I think because I had really good youth pastors growing up, that I was able to really absorb what they were doing. I mean, that I got in my opinion, I got a real discipleship experience where my first youth pastor really taught me how to care. My second youth pastor taught me how to read and study the Bible. And my third youth pastor taught me the love of evangelism. And the love of sharing Christ. And so I think, man, when you put those things together, I mean, I tell people and I joke with people, they say, well, what do you want to do after high school, Paul? Well, I only really had three options. One was social work, going to social work. That seemed like I could do that. Number two was professional bowling. I had a 143 average. I was competing in tournaments. I had bowled a 204. I was doing pretty good. I thought I could go that route. I could go that route. Or I said, you know what, maybe a youth pastor. I think just because that's had the largest amount of influence in my life. And I had, it was a great time. And I learned so much from these youth pastors in my life. And then on from there, I started when I was full-time. I spent many years volunteering. And then at 22, I started my first church and was youth pastoring there, and then proceeded to just kind of move on from there. And I've just always had a love for not only young people, but as I grew older, then a love for youth workers and those who work with them. Just because I know the amount of chaos that happens. I know I can watch a service in church and know whether anything is going wrong or not. Like, oh, that guy. Yeah, he messed that announcement up or whatever, what's going on there. You're sitting there going, well, what's happening behind the scenes there? Or, you're able to see that. And I said, man, we could do this thing better. I just believe we can do it better and just, get together with youth workers and try to help them out.
That's awesome.
So that's why I developed everything. That's why I did the podcast and the YouTube channel and all that stuff, just to get into the ears and faces and eyeballs of youth workers who just want to get better.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, let me ask you this question just real quick. This wasn't scripted, but just out of curiosity, what has been your favorite moment in youth ministry?
Ooh, story time.
I can't. If you ask me, I think every decade has one. I think if you asked me in my 20s, I had one. If you asked me in my 30s, I had one. Let me just share with you real quick. I speak every year at a camp down in Florida, and for the past 17 years. That's 17 years straight, every year, at least 1 week. Sometimes, most of the times, 2 weeks. And there's a young lady there. And when you do something for 17 years, you see campers grow up to be counselors,
right?
Grow up to get married. And I'm doing a wedding now in December for this young lady who asked me to marry them. She's a camper. She's a camper. Goodness. I married two campers, well, one camper last year, marrying one this year. And she says, she just asked me, she got engaged, and she says, this is currently my favorite memory. She says, my home pastor, she says, my home church pastor may not be able to officiate the wedding. And if not him, you're the only pastor that's truly had an influence on my life. And so that, and that's, my current favorite memory. I mean, that stuff there, I mean, that's what you do it for, really. I mean, you do it to glorify God, but man, the payoff when you do something consistently long enough, and you're an influence in people's lives, and these are campers, man. I don't know too many speakers that are doing campers weddings. I just don't. But what a blessing that is. And I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a camper coming up in a camper that I met probably when she was probably 15. Oh, wow. And she's getting married she's getting married in February. So
that is so cool.
That to me, those are the cool memories right now, man. I got tons of other stories, but to me, that's my memory of the 50s right now. In the 50s, that's my cool memory, is the amount of young people that I'm going to get to influence and marry in the upcoming years.
That's so cool.
So awesome. Well, I know that you had helped Dallas when we were youth pastoring. You have a program actually that you do. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I do. And, they call these groups, and maybe you've heard of them, they're called mastermind groups, right? Where you get together with, all these people and you put them together. And supposedly, I think the premise is that the person leading the group is somehow the mastermind. Right. I would not say I am the mastermind of anything. But what I would call it, and I call it the ministry mind group. And because I think ministry minded people who get together, especially youth workers, the whole point of the coaching experience is collaborative, and we allow kind of the Holy Spirit to kind of work in amongst us as we talk about the issues and problems we have. And we try to help one another. There's many times in a session that I'm in with guys right now, and I'll say, hey, what do you think about this issue or problem? And I'll just kind of, let that person kind of direct it to the other person that's asking the question. I'm not just the person answering, all the questions. But yeah, I have a new fall session coming out in August 5th, and we'll go about 12 weeks. This will be my second session. And so, yeah, if anybody wants more information on that, they can go to thediscipleproject.net and click on the blog, and it is the first post right there, and you can find out all the information about how to get in that.
That's awesome. Awesome. Like Celeste said, I've actually was in one of the inceptions of this, like one of the first groups you ever did.
The
beta test. And it was really neat. It was really, really cool to be part of that. And for those of you who are watching, before Celeste and I, so most of you guys know this, because before Celeste and I became the online community pastors at our church and Geek Devotions, we were doing the youth ministry at our church. Yes. And I knew things. I have a degree in youth ministry. I was using it, but sometimes you need people to surround you. Yeah. You need people who that they know what they're talking about, that maybe they've been in it just a little bit longer than you and can speak into your situation and be encouraging. I know for you, Paul, you were that person for me, man. Yeah. And I really appreciated that. What's the process for you, man, where you got a group of people with you and you're walking with them? Like, how does that look like on a regular basis in your program? Right
now we meet twice a month, and usually that'll be established. Right now it's Monday nights. That may change in the fall depending on people's schedule, things like that. But we try to just have one night. And when we get online, we just get together. Usually it's through Zoom or something like that, where multiple people can get in. And this first real run that we did in the spring here, it's been very loose in regards to that. But I think what's going forward is I'm going to have about 12 questions, and you're going to have a journal. And I'm going to feed to you what I would think the 12 most important questions for that quarter is going to be. And so we'll kind of lead into that, and we'll answer that question together. You'll journal about it. You'll explore through it. You'll go through it, and then we'll kind of all answer the question together about what that looks like, because, we're the thing is, we're so quick to want an answer to a solution, but we don't know why that answer is the answer. We don't know why we should implement that, or, we just need to ask why more and ask a lot more questions. So I think in asking the questions, we're able to flesh out, what those answers are going to be. So that's what we're going to do with youth workers in the fall, is they're going to have a little booklet. They're going to have a thing, and we're going to work through that together, as well as just random stuff. I mean, we'll talk about all kinds of things and issues or things that are going on. So we're not, committed to the book. That's more of just where we on ramp into the rest of the discussion. But at least we lead with that. So I know that they're getting and answering those critical questions that I feel like they need to address that maybe they have not addressed.
Awesome. All right, Paul. So we're going to do something we've never done before. We're going to do a quick lightning round questions.
Oh, I'm the first.
You're the very first one. We're super excited about this. So Get ready because you are in the hot seat. Question number 1, Star Trek, Star Wars, why?
Oh, Star Wars. Because I saw Star Wars when it was probably the first movie, really big time movie I'd ever seen. And I saw it in a drive-in theater in Brooklyn, New York. And so I think the epicness of that, although I appreciate the Star Wars series, I love the current movies that are running. I like the older movies. I love the TV shows. I grew up on Next Generation, so I was all about it. So, but for me, that's I'll go Star Wars, just on epicness level.
Favorite superhero?
Favorite superhero? Man, I'm gonna go Punisher.
Punisher.
Nice. You don't hear that one often.
Wow, I'm so scared of you.
Now, hey, he don't mess around, man. He don't mess around. I think the deal for him though, and I think everybody's has tragedy, but his whole journey was born out of tragedy, was born out of loss and trying to cope with those things, and I just think that's, he just said, look, I got to do something to deal with this crime. And that's what I'm going to do.
There you go. All right. Next question. One book you think every youth minister should read?
Oh, wow. One book. Well, if I had my book here, I would say no. One book every youth pastor should read. I think they should read Tale of Three Kings. I think that's an important book because it talks about, that's Gene Edwards, talks about the Tale of Three Kings. And I just think that's such a good book to understand pride, humility, authority, all those things mixed in there through parable, through other things that it's built out. And I think that's just because it goes through, the lives of these people, Saul and David. And so I think it's a great book.
Sweet.
Okay. So what is not necessarily your funniest ministry story, but what ministry story took you the most by surprise?
Ooh,
bonus points if it's funny.
One that took me by surprise. Golly. You mean like unintended consequences, maybe, or or something like that? Or
let me give you a quick example of this, and you can think while I'm talking.
Sure. Yes, please.
Our church did a kids camp where the teenagers ran it. We were there to make sure that the teenagers didn't die. They were there to make sure the kids didn't die. So we did in the evenings a debriefing. Okay, this happened, that happened. Everybody cried out or rest it out or laugh it out or whatever. Just get it out, go to sleep.
Yep.
And so we're sitting around and one of our adult volunteers goes, "Hey, can somebody tell me why there is ketchup in the boys' shower?" And I'm going, "Yes, I'd love to know why there is ketchup in the boys' shower." And this one kid goes, "Oh, well, see, what happened is we were showering before we came out to eat or came to do the debriefing, and we were eating a hot dog, and I didn't want the rest of mine. So I asked so-and-so if he wanted it. Well, he was in the shower, so I leaned in and fed it to him. And there must have been ketchup on my hand."
All righty. I don't think I can top that, but I will say, one day I was just sitting in my office and a kid walks into the office there and he says, "Paul, I think I did something bad." And he was with his friends and he had this guilty look on his face. And I'm like, "What'd you do?" And he rolls up his pants leg and he had a BB stuck in his leg and it was pretty deep and we couldn't get it out. And so he said, "Bro, and this is just random. They were in their backyard shooting each other with the BB gun and they shot him in the leg and it is deep in the leg." And I had to convince him, "Man, you need to go to the doctor and you got to go." And we had to call his mom and we had to do all these things. Say, "Look, bro, you just got to go to the doctor. I'll get you there or something. We'll figure it out." But yeah, you don't expect somebody to come into your office one day and say, "Look, my friends shot me in the leg with a BB." And I don't know. It could possibly still be there. I don't know if they ever really got it out, but it went in pretty deep. They were pretty close when they shot him.
Man, that's crazy.
So,
oh man. All right. One last question. One book or resource that you were like, I want every teenager should read this.
Wow. Every teenager should read this. I'm going to say, because there's so many good books out today. I don't know if there's a ton for teenagers I think anybody has any idea of what they want to do in life, right? It's a book by Jeff Goins called Real Artists Don't Starve. And it is a great book because I think a lot of teenagers today want to be artists. They want to be YouTubers. They want to be podcasters. They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to use that which God has given them to put out into the world. And yet so many teenagers quit too soon because of certain factors or because they feel like, the old model was, if you're a starving artist and, you should, just wear that on your sleeve and it's just a badge of pride. And I think, listen, you could be an artist and do very well for yourself. And I think it really lays the foundation that if you want to be an artist, that there's some steps you're going to need to go through, some changes you're going to need to make. But if you'll do these, I think you'll find out that you don't have to starve. You can actually make a living doing what you love doing. Man, that's by Jeff Goins called Real Artists Don't Starve.
Awesome. Very cool.
Nice.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Geek Devotions, our Extra Tuesday episode that we got to talk with a man with more experience than I've been alive in youth ministry. And Paul, we really appreciate you so much for all you do, not just for, what you've done for us, but like what you do for the kingdom of God, man, standing in the gap before teenagers and pointing them to Christ and helping to equip other youth leaders so they can do the same thing, man. That's, I have so much respect and honor for you, and we really do appreciate all that you do, bro. So one more time, if you could tell people how they can connect with you, how to connect with the Disciple Project, and specifically how they can get involved with your mentorship program.
Yeah, if you go to thediscipleproject.net and just click on the blog, it's the first post there. It's pinned to the top, and it will give you all the information about what the coaching is, what we're going to go through, all that kind of information, as well as if you just want to catch me on social, I'm on Twitter at Paul Turner 2. That's TOO. If you're interested in me speaking, you can go to paulturnerspeaks.com and you catch me in all those places.
Okay, well, now that you know how to contact Paul, checking him out on all his stuffs, don't forget to check us out on our stuff. We have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and a website, all that have content that is just a little bit different from the other.
True story. Well, until next time, remember, stay devoted.
Peace and love.